Hello and a warm welcome to Blue Spoon Veggie. In this video I'll be busy restocking this rather sad looking freezer drawer with some homemade veggie meals. I feel that if you're going to make one freezer meal you might as well make a few while you're at it. So I've got my oven dishes ready and I'll be making lentil and aubergine moussakas, veggie meatball and mushroom bakes, and courgette and bean lasagnes. These ideas are all based on a big batch of my sunny tomato and vegetable sauce, which is also lovely served as a soup. Let's organise all the ingredients you'll need. See below for full details. I'll be making use of lots of store cupboard foods. Each of the meals serves two and costs well under £4 to make, but you could easily bring that down further by swapping the lentils and passata to own brand, for instance. You can swap my suggested herbs and spices for what you have at home if you like, or even use fresh herbs. Add in some fresh veg and dairy items and we're ready to start a little light prep for the tomato and vegetable sauce, so we can get that on to cook first. Big pan out. This is a 2.8 litre or 3-quart pan. I've already chopped the shallots and now I'll fry them gently in a tablespoon, roughly, of olive oil. Add in some crushed garlic. This is a big batch, so I'm using 4 cloves. Use more, use less, or use none at all to suit you and your family's tastes. Now let's leave that to cook quietly while we do some more veggie prep. This chunk of butternut is around 300 grams, but you don't need to be very precise. I'll probably roast the rest of the squash and add it to a goat cheese salad, or you could mix it through spiced couscous or quinoa. Peel the squash and then chop it into small cubes. Next, the red peppers, or you can use another colour if you like. They're all so beautiful. I like to stack the pieces, rough side up. That is not skin side, which is slidier to cut, and then it's easy to slice through the whole pile in one go. And just like the squash, roughly chop them into little pieces. By this time, the shallot and garlic will have softened down nicely, and we can add the freshly prepared squash and peppers to the pan. There's no obligation to make all of this on the same day. You could happily make the sauce on one day, feel a sense of achievement, then assemble the meals the next day. Give that a good stir and leave to cook gently while we make up some vegetable stock. I always use marigold bouillon powder, which has a really nice flavour you can't go wrong with. I'm using 3 teaspoons to make 800 ml of stock. You can always use a stock cube, of course, if you prefer. A quick stir to dissolve the powder and that's ready to use. Before adding the stock to the pan, let's tip in this large bottle of passata. You could use canned tomatoes if you prefer, they would also work fine. And next the veggie stock goes in. Some sherry vinegar adds a gentle, slightly sweet flavour. Red or white wine vinegar would also be great here, or even some balsamic. A little balsamic does go a long way though, so I would use less of that. Continuing with adding flavour, in go a couple of bay leaves. I like to balance out the acidity with a teaspoon of brown sugar, or use any sugar you have to hand. Next, some smoked paprika, and some sweet paprika, one of life's minor irritations, a spice jar that's narrower than a teaspoon. If you're forced to sprinkle from a jar, always keep the jar on its side so you can tap it gently rather than tipping right over and ending up with a very paprika-y sauce. Add plenty of pepper. Remember, this will make 12 servings in the end, or 6 bowls of soup. And also plenty of salt. Another stir and you can leave the sauce to simmer gently for 20 minutes until all the veggies are softened and it looks something like this. Stir all those beautiful Spanish flavours together well. If you enjoy these kinds of flavours, you might like to have a look at my veggie paella video. I'll put the link down below. I'll remove the bay leaves now in case I forget later. That kind of thing happens often. And then we can start putting together the various bits and pieces we'll need to make up the meals. As I mentioned earlier, you can also serve this as a soup, either chunky or blended until smooth, useful if you want to hide away the veggies it contains. Time now for a spot of peeling and slicing, aka time for some mental freewheeling. First, a few potatoes for the moussakas. Slice them quite thinly, around half a centimetre thick. Then transport them to a small pan, bring to the boil and simmer for 5 minutes. There's plenty of multitasking in this meal prep, the real kind, not where you pretend you're doing loads of tasks, but actually only do one well. So while the potatoes cook, we can slice up the aubergines, also to around half a centimetre thick. If there's some variance between the slices, that doesn't matter at all. Drain the potatoes when their 5 minutes is up, and leave them to one side for now. Let's get those aubergine slices cooking now. Heat 2 or 3 tablespoons of olive oil in a large frying pan, then fry for a few minutes on each side until they're golden. I've cleared my chopping board of the rest of the aubergine slices, so I can keep this little production line moving. Next, slicing up the courgettes for the lasagnes. After you've removed the ends, slice these up, just as you did the potatoes and the aubergines. Job done, and you can return now to the aubergine slices, turning them as necessary, and then removing from the pan when they're lovely and golden. I've shifted the courgette slices to a bowl to wait for their turn in the frying pan, so I can finish up my veggie slicing now with the mushrooms for the meatball bake. If you aren't a mushroom fan, I can tell you this would be the chopping board of nightmares for Mr. Blue Spoon. Then you could swap in courgettes or aubergines for this dish too. Likewise, feel free to swap around the vegetables in any of the recipes so they suit your own tastes. In the background, I've been frying the remaining aubergine slices, adding a little more oil when needed, and now I can fry up the courgettes in the same pan. This pan will be working extra hard today. These can all go in together, then we'll just stir them up from time to time. Separate any out that are sticking together, taking care with the hot pan obviously. Once the courgettes are nicely cooked, remove the slices from the pan and turn down the heat so we can get ready to cook up the mushrooms. Once the pan has cooled a little, add in some butter. I've given you all the quantities down in the description below. And in go the mushrooms to gently sauté and soften in the butter. While that happens, my next job is making up the cheese sauce, which we'll use in both the lasagnes and the moussaka. But I see the hot frying pan has started the work for me and already melted the butter in the pan next door. Mix in the flour with the warm butter and cook for a couple of minutes before slowly adding the milk. I'm using whole milk for a slightly luxurious touch, but it will also work with a lower fat milk if you prefer. While that thickens over a low heat, don't forget to stir it often. Grate up some hard cheese. I'm using goat's gouda. Once the sauce has thickened and is nice and smooth, season with salt and pepper and then tip in the grated cheese. Stir together to melt the cheese, and that's the mushrooms cooked and the cheese sauce ready. Divide the cheese sauce between 2 bowls. That's one for the lasagna and one which will have a couple of extra ingredients added for the moussaka. While we're dividing up sauces, I've split the tomato sauce into 3 jugs, all with around 600 ml of sauce, and collected together the other things you'll need to make the lasagnas. To the first jug of sauce, I'm going to add a teaspoon of dried mixed herbs to lend an extra Mediterranean twist, so mix that in. I've no idea why I chose to use a whisk here. Next, some well-dried fresh mozzarella. Let's chop that up into small pieces. For the lasagnas and moussakas, I'll be using these 670 ml oven dishes, which are ideal for 2 servings, I think. Let's assemble the lasagnas. Keep thinking in thirds, and it's pretty straightforward. A third of the sauce goes into the oven dishes, split between both of the dishes. If you're using a measuring jug, this helps you judge how much you've used. Over the sauce, scatter a third of the beans. This is 1 can of black beans and 1 can of black-eyed beans, drained and rinsed. You can use whatever beans you like or use tinned lentils instead. After the beans, place around a third of the courgette slices as your next layer, and top that with a few pieces of mozzarella. Next, a layer of lasagna sheets. I've broken these in half lengthways to fit my dish. Give the lasagna sheets a good push down as you go. And repeat, adding some more sauce, then beans, then a few courgette slices and mozzarella. And finally, another layer of lasagna sheets. This is kind of fun, so let's do that again. One more round of sauce, beans, courgettes, and a final layer of lasagna sheets. A firm press down to remind the lasagnas who's boss, then use the last of the mozzarella over the top of the lasagna sheets. Finally, spoon or dollop over the cheese sauce. You can smooth it out in a minute. There we go, very rustic. I'm going to cook everything at once, so I'll put the oven on now at 180 degrees C and finish the rest of the assembly. So let's move on now to a similar type of layered dish, lentil and aubergine moussaka. For this, I'm taking another third of my tomato sauce and adding half a teaspoon of dried oregano. A light sprinkle of cinnamon goes in as well, and after a good stir, that's the sauce ready. Next, grate a little nutmeg, or use a sprinkle of ground nutmeg, into the other half of the cheese sauce. I should probably have switched to my microplane grater, which works better for nutmeg, but never mind. Add an egg yolk and give that all a good stir, and that's the cheese sauce ready now too. The lentils I'm using in the moussaka are canned Bijou Vert green lentils, which are very tender, but use any cooked lentils you like. Let's start construction with a layer of tomato sauce in each dish, using a third of the sauce in total. Sound familiar? Then a third of the lentils in each dish. Spread those out fairly evenly. Next, a layer of potatoes. I'm starting to feel like Rachel in Friends with all these layers. Then a layer of aubergine slices. And then you can start the whole process again. Sauce, lentils, potatoes and aubergine. Let's do that one more time. Layers complete. Pour the egg-enriched nutmeggy cheese sauce over the top. I'll spread it more evenly in a moment. There we go, good enough. These can wait patiently with the lasagnas while I finish the batch cooking with a couple of simple mushroom and Quorn meatball bakes. These couldn't be simpler. To the final third of the tomato sauce, I'm going to add a teaspoon of dried parsley. And then a couple of tablespoons of soured cream. Whisk those in. I have the correct utensil this time and I didn't even need to wash it up. I'm making these bakes in these Pyrex 800ml oven dishes, which are great for 2 servings. They also have lids, which makes storing food in the fridge and freezer easy. For 2 servings, I'm using 10 of these Quorn Swedish style balls per bake. There are plenty of other options instead of these fake meatballs. Chop up some veggie sausages, halloumi or paneer, or use another meat replacement. Next, add half of the mushrooms to each dish. We switch fractions from thirds to simple halves to finish things off. So pour half of the tomato sauce over the mushrooms. Then repeat with the other dish, the rest of the mushrooms and the tomato sauce. Give both dishes a little shuggle, as we'd say here in Scotland, just to settle the veggies and sauce down into the dishes. Then these and the moussakas and lasagnas are all ready to be baked. See the description below for cooking details. A full oven, what a happy sight full of promise. Of course you can serve one or more of these straight away for dinner, but to squirrel them away in the freezer, let them cool completely, pop on a lid or wrap well with tinfoil, then freeze. I aim to use freezer meals within 3 months, just to keep things moving through the freezer, but they'll still be fine beyond that. You can cook these meals straight from frozen, again see below for timings. Thanks for watching, and I hope you found something useful in this video. Let me know in the comments what you like to stow away in the freezer, or just say hi. Take care of yourself and bye for now.